Okay, I forgot to do the intro of this particular JTorx cars. On this one, you'll see me attempting to fit some DRLs. I'd already fit some LED headlight upgrades, only to realise that I think they're not programmed in, or they're tripping the sensor or something. So I need to figure that one out. In terms of the DRLs, I've just got the connectors clipped into the power supply wires and not connecting properly. So I've got to take the offside ones, deconnect the offside ones, and redo the connectors, mostly because basically so I have a solid connection and then I have power running to the DRLs. However, as you'll probably notice, I thought it'd be a great idea to put them on the actual headlights on top, thinking I'll see them under the bonnet. Well, my bonnet goes down a bit too low. So for a later JTorx cars, I'm going to be figuring out how to get the bonnet to be sitting right, because it's not flush in line with the wing. So I've put DRLs in. You can't see them, but because they're on top of the headlights, they make the lights, the side lights, lighter anyway. So they kind of are serving a purpose. So yeah, so this is not how to, well, it's kind of how to fit DRLs, but not how to do them as well. It's not gone to plan, but you'll see in this video anyway. So yeah, enjoy the disaster. So I just put the LED headlight in. I should have videoed it before, but I didn't really get much chance. So what I'm doing is I'm just preparing my DRLs, and then hopefully I should have some funky looking lights. So I've sat the plastic in the rub a bit. Some people have advised to take the lights apart. I don't really want to be doing that. So I'm just trying to do a different way of doing it, and hope that it does the job, really. Right, one side done. This looks pretty good, to be fair. I've skipped a few steps, but I've used some little, sorry, a bit upside down here, some little connectors, just to jump into the wires and everything, and yeah, it's looking superb now. So what have I learnt today? Well, they're not as easy to put on as I thought. I've seen a few walkthroughs and guides, but they require quite a bit of work. So the connections didn't connect how I wanted, so I'm going to go through it again. However, I've got one side working and I've got new LED headlights in, so it looks bright enough. So it's a case of I'm going to have to come back to this and work on it. I've got the connections and everything sorted. I'm just going to have to redo it again. And I'm going to need more of those connectors. They're not the best, but without cutting wires, which I don't want to be doing, it's going to be quite a task. So I think there's going to be another follow-up to this, and I'll get this finished. So the problem we have now is whenever I switch the car on, cancel that, I've got that. Now, my suspicion is probably because I've changed the headlights to LED lights, but with the side lights, they're on, albeit one of my DRLs on the left side's on, the right hand side's not working. Also, the other problem I've discovered is you cannot see the DRLs because the boot lid goes low, so I'm going to have to de-stick them off the headlights, and I'm going to have to figure out how to put them inside the headlights, which is one thing I didn't really want to do. The other option is maybe to put them on the bumper, which I think is becoming more of a viable option. So with this, I'm just driving the Audi. You can probably hear in the background. I hope the mic sounds alright and everything's coming through okay. I've still got my dipped lights, warning lights on, which I think is something to do with the LED headlight upgrade. But yeah, just doing this really. With view to the J Talks Cars vlogs, I'm just going to be doing mostly like little jobs on the car. I think I've probably touched on this on the previous vlogs, but what I'm doing on this is I'm doing you know, bits and pieces on this car, and upgrading, little tweaks and that, just to tidy the car up for car show. And yeah, well, car show season. I mean, it's not exactly a concourse type of car, but it's I do want to show it off as much as I can, which is maybe a bit conceited of me, but you know, it's one of them. I'm just on the way to the garage now with regards to Helen's car. Bought some rear shock absorbers, only to find that the bottom bolt fitment doesn't fit through where it's supposed to fit. So I'm going to have a look at the shock absorbers, going to take pictures. I'm going to have to send them back for a refund, and I'm going to have to source some other shock absorbers from elsewhere. The shock absorbers I'm wanting to get on her car are more of an upgrade, mostly because manufacturer ones will do the job, and I know she's not too bothered, but at the same time I want to improve the car. I want it to give it a bit more of a sporty feel, and you know, she enjoys driving it. It is a cracking little car, but it's just a lot of the work that's already been done on it has been done on the cheap, and I'm willing to spend a bit extra money just to improve it and make it even better than it is. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing now. Right, so now on for retrieving Helen. Sort that position of the camera out. So yeah, going to retrieve Helen, and go and pick a car up and what have you. I mean, I've paid the bill and everything. Thankfully the garage only charged labour. What had happened was I'd ordered these shock absorbers, and they're the right ones for the car, but I think they've sent me the ones for the later model, not for the model that's hers, which is the earlier one. The bolt that goes through the bottom ring is too big on her car, so the hole on this is too small, and I'm just a little bit gutted because now I've got to figure out how to send them back and hopefully get a refund, which is going to be frustrating. You would expect from a parts place that they would instantly know and at least get the part right, but as it's transpired now that it's clearly the wrong parts because of a diameter issue. It's really frustrating. So I'm going to try and get the refund back for this, and then I've got to order another set. Luckily she has shock absorbers, but it's like a boat in the back of that car. It's just bouncing up and down, and plus the springs as well, the rear springs have started corroding, so they're going to need replacing as well. So I'm now of a quandary whether to take the punt and get some aftermarket springs to go with the sports shock rear shocks, and at least then hopefully the car's fine. So that's a challenge with her car. Her car's about 23-24 years old. It's only done, we got it at 45,000 miles. It's now done about, what, 65, so only 20,000 miles in her ownership. So it's still got a lot of life in it. The problem with her car compared to mine is hers doesn't have plastics underneath it protecting the bodywork, so it's quite crusty under there. So I reckon at some point it's going to need some welding doing. Obviously the cost of the welding has got to be it's got to be less than the value of the car. That's the rule I work off. If the repairs are worth more than the value of the car, then it's not worth doing. You could argue you spend that sort of money and you've got a good car for however long until you need to do something else drastic to it. At the same time, for that same sort of money, you could have got yourself you could get yourself another car, which would probably be more reliable. So you got to weigh up the pros and cons with it. But that's the rule I follow. If the repairs are more than what the value of the car, then, you know, depending on whether it's viable or not, depends on whether I take a chance doing it. So yeah, that's pretty much the rule. So with my car, my next project, weather permitting this week, is I'm going to fit a sports diffuser on the front of the car. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to figure out how to create a detachable bracket. So the reason why I want a sports diffuser on this car is if, let's say, I take it to shows, meets, or even on track days, because I am planning on maybe just doing a bit of tracking with it. I want to maximise aero. but not go Formula 1 level aero. I just want to maximise it and try and create some sort of legitimate handling and grip. So that's why I want to do it, but I want to do it in a way where it's detachable, so I can just bolt it onto the car, you know, not like spend forever figuring it out. Just bolt it on and then it's ready to go. You know, I mean, traveling around with it long distance would require a bit extra sticking and reinforcing, and that would probably complicate matters a little bit, and I don't really want to be doing that with the car. I want to keep it simple, functioning and still practical, but as well have some fun in this car. So yeah, that's the plan with the detachable front splitter, or front wing, if you want to call it that. I am going to get a rear wing, I think, but however the aero strakes are working, because the car is feeling now at about 50 mile an hour, feels quite solid. It's weird. It's a very minimal thing. It's not something you'll notice unless you're actually like looking for it, but the car feels very stable cutting through the air. I think the side skirts are doing their job, because, you know, they're not trapping air but they're directing air, which is what is working with this, and that's what I want with my aero mods, is more aero direction than just aesthetics and it looking too pretty. I am going to come back to the headlights, to the DRLs, because I need to rewire one side, because I don't think I've got a good connection, which is why that side's not working. But like I said earlier, I might need to redo the whole way I'm doing it, just so that they're more visible and hopefully they look more practical and as they're supposed to. So yeah, there's ideas behind the madness, but you know, it should all be practical and it should do the job quite well, and hopefully you know, the practicality of it will weigh up with the aesthetics of it as well. So, but yeah, the car is feeling good, you know, 60 mile an hour roads, feels quite planted, feels very smooth. My fuel economy's quite good, it's reading quite good. So, you know, the average for this car apparently is about 48-50, and I'm getting at least 52-53. I did say it's had an eco remap, so I reckon that should be even better, but I mean, I don't know. I might spend the money, get upgrade the injectors and give it another remap and see what it does and see how we go there. But yeah, it's a good car, doing its job. I absolutely love this car. You know, don't let old cars put you off. I know there's a big mandate for getting a new car and everything, but I don't believe you have as good raw feel in a newer car than you do in an older car, especially one that, yeah, you could argue I'm modifying, but I'm modifying it for, you know, improving for the current world and as well for practicality, and hopefully, fingers crossed, to save me a few pennies, but time will tell on that. So Helen retrieved, just following her back. It's quite busy in Helen around about this time of the day, which is always interesting. But yeah, just I've been having a bit of a stressful day, obviously with these shock absorbers, trying to find the right shock absorbers and make sure she's got the right parts in her car. This is the problem with having 20-year-old cars. Getting OEM parts is now starting to become difficult because some manufacturers, or some manufacturers actually, OEM manufacturers, have stopped producing the parts, and most of the parts for cars older than, I think, 15 years old, you can only get through on the aftermarket sort of side of things. So a lot of aftermarket parts aren't always right, and some sellers don't always pay attention to details. I mean, I appreciate they don't always understand what the parts look like, but if you're going to sell the aftermarket parts, you should at least make sure that they're the right ones. So, but yeah, it's fun, you know, owning an old car. But like I said before, I'd still drive and pick an older car over a newer one, because a newer one, you can't really enjoy the drive unless you buy a premium model, and even then, you know, you still have a lot that take away the essence of driving, you know, the skills and the understanding, because you have computers or sensors or things doing it for you. So it's never brilliant and it's never fun. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the car I've got, and you know, having something 20 years old, you know, it's going to be a good solid car. I mean, from the 20 plus years I've worked in the motor trade, I learned that from, I want to say 95 maybe, 95 till 2012, 2014 in some manufacturers, cars were built to sell. Cars were built to last. Now they're just built to sell, and a life cycle of a car is now roughly about 10 years, especially with these newer models. So that, from what I understand, is just so that the manufacturers can still make money, because between 2000 and definitely 2008, manufacturers were losing a lot of money on the cars that were built to just be bulletproof and reliable. Now, you know, if something goes wrong, minimum you're spending 500 quid before you even start. So yeah, I find that it's a little bit of a con, but end of the day I can understand why. You know, people do this to stay in business. So otherwise, you know, I mean, look at what happened to MG, for God's sake. Right, so I'm just having to nip out. I'm going to need some more of these bladed connectors, you can see that, because obviously they're knackered. So I'm going to go to my local auto factor, see if they've got any, and then I'm going to try and work out a fix for the passenger side or driver's side front. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Oh, that's nice. Well, I'm here at AFL, so let's get these, see if I can get these bits. So I've got what I need. I've got these connectors, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a connection block for the DRLs to the extension wires. Obviously going to colour code everything, and I've got some more of these bladed bits to go into the connectors, and I hope this does the job. So yeah, but yeah, I've got to wait for the weather to improve. So what I've done is I've created a connection. Now you're wondering what the third's for. That's for the signal. Now I've got to figure out how to connect that to the indicators, therefore to get the indicators to work with this. So it should be quite cool when I eventually get it working. So this is going to be the fix for the side that isn't working, and then I'm going to repeat the process for the other side to create a side that will work. So here's my fix. A bit rudimentary, but rudimental, or rude, crude, however the word goes. But that's the connection blocks to go into the actual DRL lights. Obviously the signal lights I'll be working on, and then I've redone the connection leads. So hopefully I should have a very solid connection, and I should have the other DRL working. However, the weather today has got other ideas. So it's going to be, I think it's going to have to be something for a dry day. So I'm going to leave things at this, and I will continue with the DRL installation. I'm doing things a little differently to what I've seen on YouTube, because I think there's a few ways where you need to take headlight apart and put bits and pieces together, take other bits off, and back to front jiggery pokery and stuff like that. So I'm going to work on a way of doing things, and hopefully I will have my DRL sorted by the weekend. Now this is near midweek, and I've got a few content videos to do, so I've got a lot to go, but the kit is here ready. Anyway, so right, so I'm gonna have to do the DRL installation in two parts. Weather's kind of put a bit of a kibosh on how I'm going to do this. I want to try and do J-Talk's cars either a week, couple of weeks, sort of things, just whatever content I can get, really. So I've created a little kit for DRLs. I'm going to install that hopefully when I've got a bit of dry weather. I'm going to try and jump on it and try and fix the problem, fix the issue. And then I've got to see how I can get the DRLs to show a bit more, because obviously, as I explained before, my bonnet is dropped a bit. I think it's something to do with the way it attaches to the cross member. So I think that's just a connect issue or something, or I think there might have been some bump stops or something under the bonnet that might be missing. I don't know. It's something for another video. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this. There's some other little jobs on other cars as well, so I might do something with my partner's car as well. I mean, I know there's not many Corsa C's knocking about, but I know that those that do have them, especially the younger drivers, might be thinking of just some cheap mods and whatever. I know in the previous vlog I had a bit of a quip about some Temu products, with them being cheap. To be fair, if you want to modify your car on a budget, providing it's not tacky, I would recommend Temu or anything from Temu or through Temu. No, this vid's not sponsored by Temu, but I quite happily suggest that, because they do have some pretty cool stuff on there. And yeah, you know, you might want to polish your car up or bring it up to date slightly. I mean, these DRLs, I think they were about £3, so they weren't expensive, but they seem to do the job. I just need to sort out my bonnet and being able to be seen. So I'm going to leave it at that. I didn't say this on the previous vlogs, so please like and subscribe. Make suggestions, put comments in. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not trying to be a mechanic. I'm just basically documenting, doing little jobs on a 20-year-old Audi A4 B6 Avant. And whether it's of interest to you or not, I apologise, but I also thank you. Thank you, I said, sorry. And yeah, just I've got into this whole car ownership vlogging. I'm not trying to be like a Shmee or a Matt Armstrong or anyone like that. I'm just trying to just kind of encourage that looking after older cars is not difficult. I know you've probably may watch Auto Alex. You know, they buy these old cars and throw money at them and in hope to maybe make a profit or just to keep them going, whether they're worthy to keep going or not. You know, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just literally trying to document, you know, life with a 20-year-old Audi and a 20-plus-year-old Vauxhall Corsa. They're not exactly top premium. Well, you could argue Audi is maybe, but yeah, I love my car. I love what I've got, and whilst I'm still allowed to use a diesel Audi, I'm going to keep documenting this vehicle and life with it, and the haphazard jobs that I do on it, or the little jobs that could maybe do with a professional touch. But you know, budget Audi ownership, that's all I can say, or budget car ownership if you want to look at it that way. So yeah, you know, I just well, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao bien.
Lagging whilst gaming? Out of steam after a long day at work and you want to go out raving? Or just need something to get you through your grueling day? Dubby Energy, a healthier alternative to the off-the-shelf brands. Dubby is packed full of the important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks don't provide. This product doesn't contain artificial additives and is also sugar-free, maltodextrin and keto-free. One tub on average is cheaper than consuming 2 cans per day of the off-the-shelf brands. Order your Dubby Energy via their website at dubby.gg and use my promo code VaderMonkeyJ to get yourself 10% off your order. Keeping yourself energized doesn't have to be unhealthy.